Oh, hello there. Let me tilt you down a little bit, I guess. Hello there. Welcome to Cat Hair in My Eye. Welcome to another episode of Fibre. This is the series where I, your host Jordan, fuck around and find out. So, today we're going to be dyeing some yarn. We're back in the dye studio. We're technically in my studio. We're going to head out to the dye studio. It's my kitchen. And I'm going to dye some yarn. Now, the reason that we're back in the dye studio for another fibre fuckery, the window is open, the microphone broke, okay? We're back to regular default iPhone audio quality. It is what it is. I'll get another microphone eventually, I don't know. Okay, let's try and collect our thoughts here. I saw this sweater on Instagram. I'm going to insert photos of it along with the designer's name because I can't remember off the top of my head. I just remember seeing it and I was like, immediately yes. It's a strawberry. This sweater is a strawberry, and I don't wear a lot of, well, I do wear a lot of sweaters. However, where I am in Canada doesn't actually get that cold. I'm in the West Coast, British Columbia, right on the water. It doesn't get cold here. Like, quiet down. We don't get negatives temperatures in the winter. So I really want to knit this sweater as a t-shirt in a silk linen blend, which I have acquired said silk linen blend. However, I've never dyed a silk linen blend. Say that 10 times fast. So today we're gonna try and dye a silk and linen blend. Now, if you're not familiar with dyeing yarn, the reason that this is a little bit different for me, I dye animal fibers. So I dye wool, mohair, alpaca. I'm dyeing things from animals, and an animal fiber dyes differently than a cellulose fiber. A cellulose would be a plant. Cotton, in this case we're going to do some linen. There's other plant-based fibers. I'm just brain. The brain is not doing great today. A cellulose fiber dyes differently than a animal fiber. They need completely different types of dye. So for me to be dyeing a mix, a silk linen mix, I'm nervous. I can't remember the exact blend of the yarn. I can look. I'm knitting a sock right now. Let me see what we got here. I ordered 65% Tussa silk, 35% linen. I ordered a DK weight. You guys, this yarn is so soft. It's just like should I show it to you? I don't know. Like I said, it is an undyed yarn, but it's very soft, very drapey. If you're new here, oh, it is cold. It is literally chilly out today. If you're new here, silk is one of my favorite fibers. I love silk in any capacity. If it's blended in a yarn, if I'm spinning with it, if I'm touching it, I love silk. It is one of my favorite fibers, okay? So this is 65% Tussa silk, 35% linen. The other reason that this scares me a little bit to dye is that Tussa silk in general is a little bit tricky to dye, okay? She is a little bit stubborn. It's just a little bit harder to penetrate the silk, and it also needs more, I think we've talked about this before, it also requires more dye to get the same color concentration as if you were dyeing like a wool. So, nervous. And because I said, maybe, did I say this? I want to dye this yarn for that strawberry top. That's why I was talking about that pattern. I don't know if I articulated that well. I'm dyeing this yarn for that pattern, okay? That pattern, I don't think it's come out yet, but I did grab, I think I bought 8 skeins of this, and we're gonna dye this up. Obviously, I'm not gonna need 8 skeins for a t-shirt, but I think I'm just gonna do 4 of these and try it. Now, let's look at the dyes. I do have very few red dyes. I actually have fluorescent red. I finally just ordered a big old, oh, not in frame. I finally just ordered a big guy of this neon red, fluorescent red. I use so much of this, but the only other red I have for my acid dyes is cherry red. So we're gonna grab that. And then, I guess I don't even have a red. Procyon. Girl, I still don't know how to say this, but this is a cold water dye for plant-based fibers. Well, I guess you can technically use this on, these dyes are a menace, okay? They confuse me, they're a menace. We're really just, I don't know, girl, I don't know. What is this? Oh, it's black, okay. Is it? Oh, it's sapphire. Oh, okay. I actually picked up this book within the last like 2 weeks or something. This is Textile Dyeing by Kate Broughton. Please hold. And it is all about, as you might have guessed, textile dyeing. I love fiber and textile books. I have quite the collection growing. I'm actually looking for a new bookshelf. But in the end here, squeaky brakes, there is a recipe, okay? And it's right here. What I really struggle with, there's a whole section on how to read a recipe. And what I really struggle with these Procyon, whatever the hell these are called, is that it's a lot more math. This is the other reason I've never gotten into natural dyeing, because natural dyeing is so much math. If you want to get any sort of consistent or like planned results, it's all math. And girl, if you're new here, I can't do math to save my life, okay? This is where I'm scared, is these specific dyes, because it's math, okay? It's math and I'm scared. I'm scared. We're gonna do this together though, okay? This has been a long intro. And we might end up with pink strawberries, which would be kind of cute. We're gonna see what happens. Maybe this yarn turns out freaky and that's that, you know what I mean? Actually, one more thing. The only other like worry I have is that when you're dyeing with these Procyon MX dyes, you're using soda ash, and soda ash is, it helps change the pH and it helps bind the dyes to the fiber itself. Soda ash is not great for silk. Like, it can kind of dull the sheen of it. It's not necessarily like damaging the fiber. Like, it's not like I'm bleaching the silk, but soda ash and silk aren't besties. But again, this yarn, like, it's not a high shine yarn because it is blended with linen. Like, this is a very flat yarn, no offense, girl, but it doesn't have like a shine or a sheen or anything to it. So I'm gonna pre-soak these, and I don't know what the plan of attack is yet. I think we're gonna do 2 different dye baths. I don't think you can mix vinegar and soda ash in one pot and like different dyes. That sounds like chemical warfare. So I'm gonna research. So the instructions here say, we're not tie-dyeing. There was a sticker here, so this is kind of hard to read. To dye 1 pound of fabric, which I'm dyeing just over a pound. A pound is 454 grams. I'm dyeing like 463 grams. We're dyeing a pound of yarn. I'm not doing exact measurements here. We're getting as close as we can with the math I can comprehend. To dye 1 pound of fabric or yarn. This is where the sticker was. Ooh, what does that say? Oh, fill a 5-gallon bucket with 3 gallons warm water or enough to cover fabric. Add 1 to 2 tablespoons or 50 to 30 grams of dye and stir until dissolved. Add pre-wetted fabric and stir 15 minutes. Slowly add a 1/4 cup of pre-dissolved soda ash while stirring for 40 minutes. Stirring for 40 minutes is crazy. Optional for okay. For max depth of shade, slowly add 1 cup of pre-dissolved salt. Okay. I think I can manage this, you guys. We can do it. Don't let the math scare you. Math is your friend. It's gonna be fine. Measuring cup. Salt. Oh shit, I might not have enough soda ash. No. Okay, how much soda ash does it want? A 1/4 cup. Okay, I should have a 1/4 cup. That should be close enough. And tongs. And some bravery. Where's my bravery? No, kidding. Respirator, safety goggles. Okay. Let's get into this very boring voiceover. I'm just dissolving all of my powders here in some warm water because we're using the cold process dyes. The dye pan is going to stay cool tap water. Nothing will dissolve once it's in there versus an acid dye. If we got hot and steamy, everything would dissolve eventually. Here we're going in cool water, so I'm pre-dissolving everything. This is my dye designated milk frother that I use to dissolve powders. Very thrilling stuff here. Following the instructions to the best of my ability, I have 1 cup of salt and a 1/4 cup of the soda ash, just dissolving it in some warm water. Okay, and I'm not worried about inhaling salt, obviously, so the respirator can go. This is so much salt, you guys. I'm actually, like, giggling. That is crazy. Maybe this is what I've been doing wrong with the... See, I don't know. The thing is when all of the times previously that I've dyed cotton yarn or cotton blend, I'm dyeing like a mini skein. So I'm dyeing 25 grams or less. And like, I was using not a cup of salt, but I was using a lot of salt compared to the weight of the yarn I was dyeing. And that's why this is confusing, because this looks like so much salt, but I'm dyeing a pound of fabric, or a pound of yarn, so whatever. But also, what the hell are you talking about? And what temperature are we at here? You know, these are called cold water dyes. I've got a lot of salt in here to dissolve, but I want to put them on heat, you know, and maybe that's what I've been doing wrong, is using them with heat, is that they don't want heat. There is so much salt in the bottom of this, it's actually kind of crazy. So I am going to use cool tap water, or probably lukewarm tap water. Guys, I don't know, this seems so... It's just a totally different chemistry. Yeah. Just gonna be mixing my salt here with my head cut out of frame. Now I'm going to mix up the dyes. I should have done that before I took the respirator off. So I'm using the color 040 Fuchsia. Wow, that focused really nicely. And here's the thing. We're going for a red, and this is where I think we're going to swerve a little bit off course. However, we're dyeing 65% silk, so that means 65% of the cherry red. I don't know how this is going to turn out, you guys. I'm nervous. I'm like excited, but I'm also nervous. Locked in. Let's go. Also, one second. Safety first. The openings of these dye containers, annoying. That's fine though. Winded. Like, that is so much dye, you guys. That is crazy. If I used a tablespoon of red dye on, like, an acid dye in wool, this would never rinse. This is just crazy to me. Oh, I really should have put something down on the counter first. Whoops. Whoopsies. Okay, girl, it's not about you. We're in the kitchen and Sarai's here, if you can hear her screaming at me. Sarai's here. She thinks this is about her because we're in the kitchen. And she's so smart. She knows that there's wet food open in the fridge. Yeah, I know. You watch out, though. I'm dying with red. I don't want to get any red on your white little coat. It's very saturated. Oh, I'm splattering it everywhere. Okay. Nope, I got it in the book. Okay. This is literally going everywhere. I have no idea why that just happened. Doesn't normally splatter like that. Nice. All over my hands. Okay. Okay, you are on the stove, but just know that this is like cold water. The stove isn't turned on. This is just so you're out of the way. You know what I mean? Okay, let me get some gloves on. Do I need gloves? Okay, I'm nervous. Okay, let me read this again. I am going to take these out here. I should have put the dye in first. There is still, I'm looking at everything to make sure it's all dissolved correctly. Do you see all the salt in the bottom that's not dissolved? Come on. Okay. I am gonna put the soda ash in with the dye. It says to wait. I'm gonna wait. Fine, I'll wait. Okay. Dye. Satisfying. Ooh, that's so beautiful. Really? Wow, that looks like blood almost. That's crazy. Oh, that was an awful noise. Okay, let's get these bad boys in here. Ooh, wow. Okay. I mean, it's pink. Add 1 to 2 tablespoons of dye and okay, we did that. Add pre-wetted fabric and stir for 15 minutes. I'm not gonna stir for 15 minutes. That's simply not gonna happen. I will, however, set a timer and let this sit here for 15 minutes. And then we'll add in Sarai, I'm not doing the meowing today. I love you to death, girl, but I'm not doing the yapping. It's rude. And it's annoying. Thank you. We're gonna let this sit for 15. I'm gonna come back and add the soda ash and the salt and continue to follow the instructions and do the math. 15 minutes later, 1 second for you. Here we are, looking rather pink. So now I'm gonna bring in the soda ash. This just looks like water. But there is the dissolved soda ash in there. And then I'm not gonna stir it, but I'm just gonna kind of wiggle everything side to side. Maybe this is a bit boring, sorry. I'm just dumping things in a pan and it looks the same. But that is kind of how it is with that is kind of how it is with these plant-based yarns. There's not a lot of action going on. Here's my salt, okay? Let's get some salt in this bitch. I had to pour it into 2 different containers so I could pour in boiling water. Whoa, free me. So I could pour in some boiling water to get this to actually dissolve properly. Ow, that's still actually kind of hot. Whoops. But, okay. I'm gonna stir. Okay, so I don't normally record when I rinse yarn because it's really boring, right? It's my sink, it's yarn, it's water, it's soap, and I hate listening to this sound. So we're gonna do a little bit of a music situation, a voiceover, something, I don't know. But I just want to show you guys, you know, rinsing this yarn out. I have edited this clip down from 10 minutes into 57 seconds. So this is a full 10-minute uncut clip of me rinsing and rinsing and rinsing and squeezing and squeezing and squeezing, rinsing and rinsing and rinsing and rinsing. And the reason it does this compared to dyeing a wool yarn is when you're using an acid dye on a wool yarn, the dye will fully absorb into the yarn and completely exhaust. So exhaust means that the dye pan will be empty. Maybe it's a little pastel color left over, but the dye is fully absorbed and you have, you know, mainly clear water. This type of dye, she's built different, okay? So none of this, none of the dye exhausts. It all stays and you have to rinse it and rinse it and rinse it. And this is why I don't do this frequently, because this, my guy, is a royal pain in the ass. It uses a lot of water and it hurts my back and my shoulders a lot. You guys, oh my god, look at that saturation. Hell yeah. I'm resetting the dye pan for the acid dye portion. We're getting the silk dyed. This is a very foamy dye bath, and I don't know if you can see, but where did my spoon go? There is like chunks of this dye that did not want to dissolve, and like this water is hot, okay? I'm trying to get these freaking chunks out. Who would have thought I was going to have problems with the acid dye portion of this project? But like there's just some little chunks in there that do not want to dissolve, and it's rude. But maybe we'll get some like random little speckles. That could be cute. I don't know. I didn't think this pink was gonna turn out so well. So anyways, let's get these in here. Okay, we got a little bit of a tangled mess. There we go. In you go. Ooh, should have had my tongs closer. There we go. And we'll get in there with some red and see what that looks like. Yeah, this is a very foamy dye bath. I have no idea why. Hello friends, happy Pride. It is Pride weekend here in Vancouver. I just wanted to do a little recap on our yarns that we dyed in this video. I feel like this video was more chaotic than usual. I'm watching this back as I'm editing and I'm like, I was having a really hard time articulating my thoughts, apparently. I don't know what the hell was going on there, but I just wanted to do a recap, hopefully kind of smooth everything out, okay? So these have been obviously dyed, washed, rinsed, hung up to dry, and I'm so stoked with the saturation of these. As you can see, we did end up with a pink, but that's because I totally forgot I didn't have a red Procyon dye. I just had the fuchsia, which is kind of standard. I bought like I think I just got the fuchsia, the blue, and the yellow in the Procyon dyes because with the primary colors you can mix and make any kind of color you want. But I forgot it comes with a pink, not a red. So that's why we ended up with the pink. I'm still very happy with how these turned out, even though we didn't end up with a strawberry color. I am gonna list these on the website just because I don't need a pink. I do have 4 other skeins that I'm gonna dye up for myself. I think I'm gonna dye up some sapphire blue. In the video you saw me find that big jacquard Procyon. I don't know if they're actually called that actually, or if that's an exclusively jacquard name. Oh yeah, Dharma calls them fiber reactive dyes for use on natural fibers. So this is squeaky sound. This is for this is the Dharma brand plant-based fiber. They have a couple, but this is what I have, the Dharma fiber reactive. So I have the sapphire blue, and I obviously have a sapphire blue acid dye. So I think the other 4 skeins I'm gonna dye up for myself in a nice chokehold blue and knit myself like a very airy, flowy kind of piece. We'll see. I've been really wanting something like that for a while. I just don't want to knit a loose, airy gauge. It's not my favorite. It hurts my wrists. But to recap, I'm very happy with how this turned out. As I was editing this, I was kind of pondering and thinking like, what would have happened if I did the acid dyes first? And now I want to clarify, I don't think I really articulated it well, that the silk in this blend needed the acid dyes, and the linen we were dyeing with the Procyon dyes. So that's why we did 2 different dye baths. And I don't know that I edited a clip of the acid dye, so I have to go back and look and make sure I actually put that clip in. But we did do 2 different dye baths with 2 different kinds of dye to get both of the fiber contents properly dyed and saturated. Winded. I'm now wondering what it would have looked like if I had gone in with the acid dye first, because this is, what did we say it was? 65% Tussa silk, 35% linen. Because the majority of the fiber content is silk, I'm curious what it'll dye like if you do the acid dye first and then the Procyon dye, if it literally matters at all. I'm just swinging this thing around. I'm very curious. This was a really fun experiment for me. I feel proud of myself. I do feel that I have conquered my fear of the Procyon dyes, the fiber reactive dyes, whatever you want to call them. It's the same thing. And obviously we're kind of late in the summer now. It's August 3rd as I'm filming this, I think, 4th, something or rather. But yeah, I do think this is a base that I would like to stock in the store eventually. Obviously not for this summer, for us here in the Northern Hemisphere. Is that where I am? Northern Hemisphere? Yeah. We are, kind of coming to the end of summer, so I wouldn't be able to get this dyed and stocked in time. But maybe next year I will have some of this as a nice, fun base that I stock. Like I said, I am going to put these up on the website. I think they're beautiful. I just don't need this pink right now. And I'm going to dye myself some of the blue. So this will be on the website. Whoa. This will be on the website under Silly Skeins. And the Silly Skeins, like if you're on the website looking at my Silly Skeins tab, it does explain more about them. Normally Silly Skeins are on a yarn base that I don't repeat, that I can't get more of. But every once in a while I do throw up some tester skeins on there. And this yarn comes from the mill that I get all of my other yarn from, so I can order more of this, obviously. I'm just not consistently dyeing it right now. That's why it's going to be under the Silly Skeins section. I hope that's clear. Questions, comments, concerns, you can leave a little comment down below. This was fun. I feel like I'm a little bit low energy because I'm coming out of Pride weekend. Thankfully I'm not hungover today, but I am tired. Okay, I am a sleepy little bean. It's a mess in here. The house was clean, the house is no longer clean. So we're a little bit low energy today. I feel like this recap doesn't need to be long because the beginning of this video, I'm editing it and I'm like, girl, is she ever gonna shut up? Why is this intro 9 minutes long? But I had a lot to say, apparently. Anyways, here we are, finished yarns, silk blend. This is very soft, and I will say it was worth the pain in the ass of rinsing for 10 minutes straight. and that whole ordeal. However, these were really fun, and you know, not everyone can work with wool, so it is such a luxury to have a wool-free, lanolin-free yarn base. I'm curious to play with like a variegated colorway. Obviously, we went very tonal, one saturated color all throughout. I'm curious to see what it would be like to play around with a variegated silk linen. Do you know what I mean? So that is something I'm gonna have to play around with for our next episode, I guess. Whenever I order from the mill, I'll have to order some. Ooh, actually, you know what I did? Okay, so I just did a Hobie order a couple days ago. I ordered some Hobie Friends cotton silk. I love the Hobie Friends lineup, all of the yarns I've tried in the Friends lineup, but the cotton silk specifically, love it. It's a ply of cotton yarn, and then it's plied with a silk thread, but it's I can't remember the type of silk it is. It starts with a B, but it's a more like raw textured silk, and it's just a beautiful texture and finish it gives when you knit it up. And I think I ordered like 10 skeins of that just for shits and giggles because I had fun dyeing this. I was like, let's see what like a cotton silk is like to dye. So the Friends cotton silk, obviously that's not a base I would carry. I'm not gonna be like, if I'm not buying the yarn at wholesale prices, it's not a base that I'll continually stock, but it'll be fun as a silly skein to dye up and just see, like, we can do some variegated colorways on that. Maybe that'll be fun. And I think I actually did order some of that to redo the red dye so that I can actually make that strawberry top. And as of the time this video is getting published, the strawberry, what is it called? The Fruit Sweater Junior version has been released, but the adult version is still in testing, so that's fine. I clearly haven't even finished the yarn yet, so it is what it is. And yeah, I think that's really all I have to say. Oh, the Hobie order. I did order some Friends silk. What did I order? I should look, actually. I ordered the Friends cotton silk in the black color and the olivin, which is, I think it's a cotton linen blend, and that is for my Ants in a Row raglan. You guys have been talking about the Ants in a Row raglan for a year at this point, and not the wig right here. And I finally ordered yarn to make it. I'm gonna make it a short sleeve as well. You guys, I really don't wear a lot of sweaters, and the thought of doing a full sweater in a color work chart, it's not for me. So I'm just gonna do like a short sleeve little top, and I ordered some cotton silk and some cotton linen, so it'll be nice to wear like year round, really. And I ordered a green, like a avocado-y, olivey kind of green for the olivin yarn, so it'll be black and green. I think that'll be cute for spring, for summer, for even in the fall I could layer it. And I also ordered some Friends cotton silk in like a cornflower blue color. I'm gonna make another matching shirt and short set because I wear the ones I have all the time, so I wanted another one, and I wanted free shipping. Okay, nobody asked what I got at Hobie, but I was feeling a little rambly apparently. So if you love the look of these, check out the website, www.JackassCollective.ca. These will be under the hand-dyed silly skeins tab, and you can snag these. These were really fun, and I'm so happy with the color saturation. Everything is even. There's no patchiness. I'm stoked. The color is beautiful. I wish I had an excuse to keep this. Like, what could I use? I need to calculate the yardage of this DK weight, but there's 4 of them. What could I, like, I don't need to be making excuses. Ugh, I'll just move it out of my stash and put it on the website. This is me convincing myself I don't need to keep it. This will be on the website. I promise it'll be on the website. Thank you for watching this episode of Fibre Fuckery. Don't know what that was. And I will see you guys, I don't know. I'll see you guys when I see you. Maybe next week, I'm not sure. I'm really behind on filming because I'm so burnt out, you guys. It's been weeks of nonstop. We shall see. We'll see. Well, I'll see you when I see you, okay? Thank you for watching. Check out the website. There's lots of other yarns on there. Tons of wool and mohair on the site. And yeah, I will see you guys when I see you. Love ya. Bye.